From talk to action, empowering youth via inclusive politics for progress is the call to move beyond mere conversations and into concrete change. Today, we focus on how young people can transform their energy, ideas, and voices into real political influence that drives development. It's about building a new generation of leaders who don't just watch from the sidelines, but take an active role in decision-making, policy formulation, and community impact. This discussion seeks to inspire youths to engage in governance, advocate for transparency, and contribute to a political system that reflects their aspirations, values, and vision for a better Nigeria. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us on Youth Connect, coming to you from Trust TV. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. Now let's go on a quick break. I want to return. You get to meet my guest. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, I have joining me in the studio barrister Idongesit Etim, a lawyer and a youth ambassador. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much.
All right, so you happen to be a youth ambassador, and luckily you're on Youth Connect.
Yeah.
And as a lawyer and a youth ambassador, how would you describe the current level of youth participation in Nigerian politics?
Once again, thank you for having me. Youth participation in Nigerian politics in the last 2 years have been improved as against what we used to have in the last 23 years of the Nigerian democracy since 1999. We've had more youths get into elective position, more youths get appointive position, and more youths get visibly close to the government than they used to be in the time past. We used to have ministers of youth who were not young people, but in the last 2 years, we've had semblance of chairmen of boards, executive secretaries, MDs who are actually young people. So young people are getting closer and closer to that dream.
Yeah, but many young people believe their voices are heard but barely, acted upon. How can you move from mere political talks to real inclusion and action?
Well, the truth is, as a young person, there's a lot of things working against the young person because it's one experience. Politics is not just an all-comers affair, whether you like it or not. These are fathers that have been there long enough. They've played it, they know the rudiments and all of that. So experience works against the young people. Lack of funds is also along with, because politics is not cheap. You need to invest a lot of finances and a lot of resources to ensure that you win. So lack of experience, lack of funds goes a long way to affect young people who have interest in politics or who are making inroads into political. So it is left for government at every level to make conscious policies that are targeted towards ensuring that youth participation is there. Luckily, before the last administration went by, they had to pass the Not Too Young to Run bill. Now, I think that affected a couple of issues. We have young people in the National Assembly, young people in the State House of Assembly by elective positions. So that has been able to bring more young people into the floor, though we need more because the Nigerian population is over 60% young people and they're under 30. So we need to do more to bring them into the mainstream of politics so they can also decide the course of what happens to their generation and then be able to impact communities.
Yeah, so you're talking about, the Not Too Young to Run bill that was signed. It was during the Buhari's administration.
Yes.
Do you think this current administration is going to also, continue from where the late president left the bill behind?
Yes, this particular administration has inherited all assets and liabilities of the last administration. And President Ahmed Tinubu is not complaining about what has not gone right or what is going right. Now, with regards to youth participation, he has moved it from probably 5 to maybe 100, because I can mention agencies of government today that are run by young people, from boards to management, executive directors, who are young people who are doing the best they can to translate the leadership agenda to what Nigerians will understand. So more young people are coming in. What we should probably ask for is they should be given the kind of responsibility that will make them man more decision-making as against maybe aides and all of that. They should be given responsibilities that will have them sit on the table, take decisions that will affect the millions of generations down there who participate in the couple of elections. So if you look at the progress that was made last time to what we have now, I'm sure that we'll begin to do more as we look in the next couple of years.
All right, so we all know that, 2027 is approaching, the general elections. What specific steps is this current administration taking to create space for youth participation in governance?
Election cycle in Nigeria, it's every 4 years. It's written that we know after the 2023 election, there will be the 2027 election. And it's the responsibility of INEC, let me use that word, they have what they call continual voter registration exercise. People turn 18 every day. And by the virtue of the Constitution of Nigeria, at 18, you're eligible to vote. People turn 18 every day. That's why that window is for them to register for new registrar, new intending person who wants to register with INEC, or persons who intend to transfer their registration from one polling unit to the other, from one state to the other. And that's where the window is. I think it's actually ongoing right now, where people are supposed to go register. And what the government is supposed to probably do is to ensure that enlightenment is done to the grassroots, where those polling units and those wards, to enlighten those people who are turning 18 every day, or those who probably not even interested, who have either turned 18 long time ago, are not interested. Get them in, let them understand that their votes will matter, their votes will count, their decisions will influence what will happen in 2027. So we just need more advocacy. I know the National Orientation Agency is doing a lot. The new management is doing a lot. Minister of Information should also come in. Other agencies of government should come in with regards to enlightenment and empowerment of people to know their basic civic responsibility of participating in an election.
Yeah, so I agree with some of the things you said, but then trust is very vital. When it comes to what we're seeing these days, you can see the people have actually lost trust in the government. There's a growing frustration, especially coming from the youths over unemployment, corruption and inclusion. How can the government address these issues to, regain the trust of the youths, especially?
I agree with you that trust is a very important currency in administration. And one important principle is that trust is not bought, trust is earned. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on the 29th of May, 2023, in Eagle Square, removed subsidy and went after, floated the naira, and a lot of Nigerians became worried.
Yeah, and actually that broke the trust, the trust they had.
Yes, but in 2 years, he has been able to sustain that trust, in the sense that while I removed this subsidy and while I floated this exchange, so that we can have more monies to do more development. Now, in the last 2 years, a lot of Nigerians who probably were not happy with his policies now understand, okay, what this man is saying is correct. Subsidy is unsustainable. There's nowhere in the world where you have some people going to CB and get Forex at a certain age, some people buy in zone 4 at a certain amount. Not everybody works in the same way. Now, in both ways, to the foreign economy, an investor coming into the country knows these people are balanced. This is how I can get FX. This is the amount anywhere you want to find FX. And it's been consistent in the last 2 years. Now, that is how you build trust in the system. Persons who probably did not participate in the last election now have a reason to look back and be like, okay, this person has been consistent in 2 years. It means if we give him another 4 years, he will do much more than he's doing. So that's the gospel we get to preach. We have the opportunity to tell people, if you look at the trust, why most people have issues with their leadership in the country is that they seem to be like, he's selfish, he's self-centered. But this administration has shown with the actions that he is doing that the plans of the average Nigerian is more important.
But do you think his reforms are actually working? Because it feels like it's coming at the wrong time when Nigerians are actually, struggling and grappling with economic hardships. And then the removal of the subsidy, the inflation of naira, and like you rightly mentioned, has all added to the hardship that, people are facing, especially the vulnerable people. Do you think his reforms actually came at the right time, or it came at the wrong time at this point?
No, there's no better time for the reform to have been taken. We agree that Nigerians are going through a lot. And in fact, the president has acknowledged it, that Nigerians are going through a lot. But the dark times are almost over. In the sense that probably when we started the 2023 financial cycle in 2024, it was so much biting on Nigerians because everything from the north to the south is moved by PMS. But because over the past 2 years, we've been able to ameliorate all those hardships. Subnationals now have more, do more for the people at the subnational levels. And government has taken upon critical projects that will touch the life of the average Nigerian. If you look at education, which I want to point out, education is a system that starts from probably infants up to adulthood. Now, if you look at careful policies that education has set up, they have what we call for the first time a free technical education program for all federal technical colleges of education. That might not be enough to solve all our problems, but if you find a child who is in GS1 and maybe he's 11 or 10, and he goes through free technical education, which is almost 70% practical now. The new curriculum says 70% practical. The idea is we are building the set of engineers that will come out and be looking and be productive with their hands. Much more against white collar. Because if you come out from that system, they now have, luckily you pass through 6 years no school fee, no uniform, monthly allowances. They are building some sense of patriotism and citizenship in you as a Nigerian. I mean, okay, I enjoyed this process. And you're lucky to probably come in out of that school at SS3, and then maybe you're looking for admission for those that want to further their education and are privileged to also partake on that health fund, get loans, go to universities. And we have specialized universities since Bola Tinubu came in. I don't know if you paid attention. They opened, the National Assembly signed a law, they passed a new, about 4 or 5 bills which are presented to Federal University of Applied Sciences in Kachia, Federal University of Environmental Sciences in Ogoni, Federal University of Agriculture and Tropical Sciences in Arabiji in Oshun, Federal University of Agriculture in Akwa Ibom. These are specialized institutions to try and move us from the regular going to school to read sociology or going to school to read things that will not affect the average society. We're now having specialized training which will affect young people going forward. So it's not just, we're coming from a problem, and Mr. President is taking conscious steps to fix these problems. So
should we hold you and President Bola Tinubu accountable if these things do not work out like you rightly mentioned?
There's no rocket science to say that this is when the president pushes an action out, there are implementators down a different level. That's why we say, imagine the policy. I don't know if you currently know that CS in all federal government hospitals are free of charge.
Okay.
Cesarean section for pregnant women is almost free.
Almost, you said, but it's not free yet.
Yeah, it's almost free. This is to encourage persons who are down the ladder. Now, with regards to why I pointed education, because education is what affects youths. And as young people, we need to inform, we need to enlighten our people, both informal education, non-formal education, and formal education. They are all relevant. We used to come from the perspective that only those that go to school properly are actually educated. But we have to look for ways to educate people in the informal sector, because those are the people that even get involved in the elections properly. The organizers, the traders, the market men and women, those are the ones that are actually very, very interested in participating in the election, because they know that one way or the other, this event of democracy, they can attach to. But those of us that probably even have formal education, who sit down in our houses and just be watching TV for updates at the end of the day. But the people that are involved are mostly people in the informal sector. So Mr. President is conscious. They have different programs, 3MTT, IDICE, a lot of programs that are supposed to help and advance youth development in this administration. And this administration is doing a lot for youth welfare and youth development.
Well, we are going to see how that plays out, especially with the general election coming up. But we all know that, activism is one thing that youth actually participate in. What do you think are the biggest challenges preventing young people from fully engaging in politics beyond just social media activism? I mean, I'm talking about, people like Very Dark Man and the rest of them, because we all see them, this is what they do for youth, actually. So what do you think is preventing young people from actively engaging?
Well, the truth is, most young people have voter apathy. They don't even believe the process would work, which is not correct. Some of them just believe INEC will announce whatever INEC would announce. Some are just interested in wanting to be president and forgetting that the responsibility of the country doesn't just lie with the president. There are different other offices that they can aspire for and probably even win. Now, and then the issues that also most people are not even looking at are, Mr. President has went to the Supreme Court to challenge the issue of local government autonomy. And that is the leadership at that level, which nobody is talking about in the last 23 years. Different resources that has been given to state governors who have been governors in the last 23 years to develop the local government areas. Nobody has paid attention. So these are where people like you have mentioned should be interested. Go down to the grassroots, look for leadership positions at that level and make impact and contribute. The cost of contesting election in this country is actually not cheap. Let's be honest to ourselves. Most young people might not be able to afford the forms of their different political parties, except they come under a youth umbrella, which probably removes entire spendings or gives maybe 50% cost. So political parties should be encouraged to allow young people get nomination forms for free, or probably even encourage bright people they feel can impact in their society, given the opportunities. But because you can't go and contest with the big wigs. They have the money bags, they have the power, they have the connect. And most young people don't, like I say, most young people are just interested in being president. Not knowing that it's almost like a circle. There's a House of Assembly, there's a local government chairman, there's House of Representatives, there's Senate. Why not try other things and be successful at that level, and then you now grow into the next one? So it's not just jumping and looking for the very top that will solve the problem.
All right, okay. So let's go on a quick break. I will return. We'll continue this discussion. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Trust TV, your gateway to the captivating essence of Nigerian history, culture, and society.
And this is where the hydroelectric power dam is supposed to be constructed.
Delve into the depths of Nigeria's past with our insightful documentaries unraveling the intricacies of ancient civilizations and colonial influences that have shaped the nation's identity. Immerse yourself in the vibrant Nigerian traditions and customs as we showcase the diverse cultural landscape.
The early history of human existence can be traced to the heart of northern Nigeria. Here, archaeologists found evidence of a group of people who sculpted clay and developed tools to smelt iron.
From lively festivals to time-honored rituals, Trust TV encapsulates the spirit of Nigeria's dynamic heritage. Experience an authentic portrayal of contemporary Nigerian culture that is both engaging and enriching.
With over 250 ethnicities, over 500 languages, and a youthful population, Nigeria has a truly diverse demographic advantage.
Don't miss out on Trust TV's amazing and impactful storytelling. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is Youth Connect coming to you from Trust TV, and we're still with Idongesit Etim on this discussion. I mean, before we went on break, you talked about, the cost of form, how expensive it is for, especially an average Nigerian, especially the youths, that maybe if they want to participate, it's not cheap, which we already know. But many youths also feel politics is reserved, for the elites or the older generation. How can we change this perception and make politics more inclusive and attractive for young people?
Well, the truth is, politics or leadership is not just an old people affair. It's maybe in Nigeria because over time, the old persons have been there long enough. They know their way around the system, and that's why they have been there long enough. The Nigerian population is over 50% young people, and it's interesting for us to get involved now. Because no better time than now for you to get involved as smoothly for them to, if you want to use your phrase, old people should hand over to young people to get involved. The truth is, they have to make it interesting and encouraging and enticing for young people to come in. How? The issues of either complete reduction of cost of forms or not even allowing young people to buy forms. I don't know how it's going to be done. Maybe a discourse will be, every political party is independent. They have their internal working. So maybe, like our political party, the All Progressive Congress, might have an arrangement that says, this is what we want for young people, particularly to encourage young people. Maybe not towards National Assembly and federal elections, maybe towards local government elections and state elections to encourage more young people to be involved. Because the truth is, if we want to have young people involved, we should start at critical areas where we know that they can be accountable to the people that they belong to. Now, there's something that this current administration is doing. It's called legislative mentorship scheme, where that was commenced by the chief of staff. This is take young people between 18 and 35 to guide them and mentor them on becoming better legislators. Now, this idea is an incubator program to try and see how, let's boost this one on lawmaking processes. Teach them so that when they have the opportunity to go into leadership positions, they would have gotten some experience from the practical training they've gotten. Now, for us in this country, we just see lawmaking as National Assembly and State House of Assembly, forgetting that the local government areas have what they call councils, which are almost non-functional because people that just answer councillors and honorable member without doing one law, and they take salaries and go home every day. And most times they are young people in those local government areas. So this form of mentorship is important. So because everyday training and retraining will be able to guide them to do better. I also believe government should probably, maybe going forward, maybe might be like an amendment or something, we can re-amend our laws to make particular offices about certain age brackets, so that we can have more young people involved. Let's say maybe you restrict House of Assembly to say if you are more than 50, you shouldn't contest for House of Assembly. I mean, some people might see it as a retrogressive law because it seems to be affecting some other people, but we should look for something to encourage young people to get involved.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because cutting the cost of forms and also giving the chance for youths to, participate in politics will actually help, reduce some of the issues that youths already have. But how can also, youth organizations, like you just rightly mentioned, some of them help groom young leaders, for elective positions rather than just supporting politicians? Because we know that during election period, the politicians are always coming to the youth to seek for, support and campaigns and what have you. And after everything, they are forgotten. They don't get, endorsements. They don't get any position that you see a youth is actually occupying this office, even though you mentioned few of them initially.
There's an informal mentorship program that goes on in politics in Nigeria. Informal in the sense that this person has been with this person for a while. He knows him. Okay, I can refer this person for political appointment. That's what happens. But support groups like ourselves, we have a responsibility when we go down to the grassroots. We try to encourage young people, because mostly our demography is young people and women, to tell them your responsibility is not just guarding polling units or being thugs. You can be involved in the sense that this administration has what they call Renewed Hope Ward program, which is supposed to look for persons at the ward level. Elections in Nigeria normally takes place in polling units. After when it's done in polling units, it's collected in the ward center, and that ward center results are announced before it goes to local government and all of that. Now, it's the responsibility of young people, and most times, young people are the ones that are involved in those processes. Now, ensuring that they man the votes, ensuring that they contribute, ensuring that their candidate wins. Now, in our own case, we tell our supporters in the grassroots, you have a responsibility to protect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's votes. You have a responsibility to also encourage other young people to get registered who are not registered yet. To also have a responsibility to tell them there are programs and policies of government that you can benefit from. Now, there's this servitude attitude that works in Nigeria, believing that after you have worked, you should be compensated or you should be given a political appointment. There's no law that says that is should be done for everybody. But I'm very, very confident that this administration, having rewarded other persons, I can mention a couple of names. There are young people who are under 40 or in their early 40s who are heads of agencies, and they are doing very, very well. Now, I know that more should be done, but of course, enlightenment has gone beyond the era where youths were just used for thugs, used for ballot box snatching and all of that. No, we now have youths who participate, who are involved, who are there at the right time. The Minister for Communications is a young man. The Minister for Youth is a very young man. We have DGs, we have executive secretaries, we have programs managers who are young people, and they are doing well in their responsibility. I know that Mr. President will do more because there are a lot of appointments that are still there that are not been given. And then in 2027, of course, when Mr. President is back in the office, there will be a lot to be done for young people who have contributed. And when the president wins election, he's not just the president of APC members, the president of everybody. So including those that probably have not supported him, who Mr. President feel they will add their input to be important in the administration, they will be brought closer and given a sense of responsibility in the administration. Okay,
so we also, have seen how youths come out to protest every now and then, expressing their frustration through protest and online movement, like I rightly mentioned earlier. What message do you think they are trying to send to the political class?
Well, protest has been an age-long tool, an age-long tool that young people or activists feel it's a way to drag the attention of the authority. It's a good way, but if you protest, you allow the authorities to take a decision or act on the issues that you are protesting about. When you protest, you should be careful not to allow miscreants to take over the activity, and then it now becomes an unlawful gathering. But if you are protesting legitimately, you have a right to express your displeasure or your excitement. The protest can be positive and negative. There are people that are also protesting saying, this man has done well, he should be allowed to do more. So if you are protesting, your point should be clear. Why you are going to that protest should also be clear. And then having protested, your rights, your what's the word now? I'm trying to look for the better phrase. The request you're looking for should be communicated to the authorities you're protesting. But if you haven't heard anything with line with what you have done, you might not have another reason to probably go on another protest or look for other avenues. There are different ways to solve a problem. It's not, protest might just be another angle. There's dialogue and negotiation is the fastest way to resolve every drama. And then there's always the law. You look at what does the law say, can we explore that angle and then look for how to get your positions to the authority.
Okay, so quick one in 20 seconds. Do you think your candidate, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will win the 2027 elections?
Unequivocally. We don't have any reason to fear. As we stand now, we are very sure Mr. President has 29 states. The constitution says 24 states, but we can count 29 states comfortably.
And it can change as well, you know.
No, we agree that politics is dynamic, but we have a president that is very grounded. The president that has worked, the president that is loved across Nigeria. The actions that he has put in the last 2 years, if the president goes around the country, there's massive love around the president. People now understand that these policies had to be taken. We cannot continue paying subsidy for food that we diverted to different African countries around us by people that are making money. Before fuel subsidy, we were using over 60 million liters of petrol every day in Nigeria. But now we use less than 4 million liters of petrol. This is the first time in Nigeria. We're not importing petrol. So a lot of things are moving forward. So Nigerians understand now. The truth is, in local parlance, when we go down to enlighten the people, we know that the dynamics of the 2023 elections will be different from the dynamics of the 2027 elections. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, before 12 noon, I'm sure that would have won the result.
I'll hold you accountable for everything you've said here, and I'm sure a lot of you.
We will gladly come back to this TV and tell Nigerians that we told you we would win, and then we are now here to bring the dividends of democracy.
Well, let's wait and see how it unfolds. Well, thank you so much, Barrister Idongesit Etim, for sharing such insightful perspective on youth inclusion and political participation.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, for also watching this discussion. Today's conversation reminds us that true progress begins when young people move from being mere observers to active participants in nation building. Our voices matter, our ideas matter, and our action can shape the future we desire. Well, if you enjoyed today's discussion, do not forget to watch us across all our social media platforms, and also like and share, comment on any of the programs that you feel, has actually resonated with you. Well, join us again next week for another interesting episode. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa.